Alright everybody, how are you doing? Um, anyway, this is the new video for MCR, which is model creation. It's working with NURBS, and for those of you who don't know what NURBS are basically, it's one of the oldest styles of 3D modeling. It's not really used too much anymore, but it's the objective is to create curves and snapping curves together to form objects. Here are some of the items that you'll actually be working on MCR and items that I have worked on. First, actually, you know what? Let me get rid of the grid. This will make things a little easier. Here we go. Basic toy box. This is here. This tutorial was actually teaching you how to use the revolve tool. Those of you who actually know how to use NURBS, you'll know what I'm talking about. But those of you who are new at this, the revolve tool is an interesting concept. I would definitely suggest learning a little bit of Maya before you come to the school. I mean, I was fresh when I first started this, and I can tell you it takes a while to pick up on it. But once you get the concept down and the idea of it, it actually comes pretty easily. Here we got a sailboat. Sailboat was pretty cool. This was one of my favorite projects that we did. The sails here kind of difficult to do. You know, especially to get everything to bend as though there was like wind pushing through it. But if you render it, you can kind of see it a little better. The difficulty wasn't so much in actually building it, it was using the tools. This one used the lofting and stuff like that when you're getting familiar with the tool loft. But yeah, this one was probably one of my favorite. Looks pretty sweet. Just anyway, moving on. Let's see what the clock. The clock was pretty cool. This is one of my favorites also. This one took a long time to do, not because it was difficult with tools, but more so because of the fact that it was just tedious. All the numbers, the grouping inside of the outliner. There was a lot of things that was kind of tedious about this one. But one thing to point out about NURBS, here if you look into the back, you can say, oh wow, well there's holes in the back of the clock. They look like they're holes, but they're really not. If you were to actually, it's called tessellation. If you were to actually render out this product, you wouldn't see it at all. As you can see, it's gone. It's just something that NURBS does. NURBS is very old, so that it does funky things. It's just strange. But to say the least, NURBS still interesting, you know, using curves. Calculator, same deal. This one used a little bit more complex surface tools. This one used beveling and you know, a lot of duplicating for the to get the numbers and stuff, but still pretty neat. Like I said, there was still tessellation. You could see it here down at the bottom, and especially up here in the corner. But if you were to render this out, you would not see that. See, gone. Yes, the tennis racket. The tennis racket was the last tutorial that they show you, or that they make you do. The tennis racket teaches you how to use the bi-rail tool inside of Maya, and those of you who've used bi-rail, you probably understand what I'm talking about. It's extremely difficult to use because you're selecting multiple curves, and you're basically building surfaces in between those curves. It's not the hardest tool to use, but it's also not the most user-friendly. Here, the wire or the string inside of the racket, bunch of little curves. I know. No, I did not make all those little curves myself. I basically created what's called a NURB circle, and then I built a path, which is wiggly like the strings look, and I extruded along a path to make it look like that. So the finished product looks like that. I mean, it was still tedious and a little difficult, but not so bad. Not as bad as it would be if I was making all those curves myself. But yeah, this one was pretty fun. So those are pretty much some of the cooler tutorials that they actually made us do. The purpose of the tutorials was to get us ready for the final project, our final. I will show you what the final is in just a minute. So basically you're learning all the tools of NURBS inside of these tutorials to prepare you for your final project. So let me show you what the final project is. Alright, so this is the final project of which they had us work on in NURBS. MCR, model creation, working with NURBS. Basically, the course instructor handed out reference images that, I don't know, they wanted you to build. So basically all they did was hand you pictures and said, here you go, have a good time, and our final was to basically build the picture. Now I got the, I don't know, 1930s school desk and chair, which wasn't the most difficult out of all of them, but it also wasn't the easiest either. So it's pretty much the middle of the road. I told him that I wasn't the most confident working with NURBS, but I can hold my own, and this is the project that he gave me. So it's not the easiest, and nor is it the hardest. So I saw a couple of kids in class get really difficult ones. Somebody got a pipe organ, and the other one got a typewriter. Pretty extremely difficult stuff. But if you look here, each one of these are on a separate layer until I imported them both into one scene. The cool thing, you got like your nuts and bolts and stuff like that. You can get a better look here, bam. The chair here, underneath the chair, you can see that there's screw holes, but like I said, you can see kind of tessellation. It's not really round, but if you were to render the image, you can see the beams underneath the chair here, and also the screw holes. So each one of those is separate. You have to build it separately. I got a screw hole in the back of the chair here. Cool thing about the desk, also tessellation on the inkwell. You can see there. If I was to render this, you can see the inkwell is round and also has the pencil groove on the left of the inkwell. You can kind of see the pencil groove here anyway, but cool thing about this, let me just open my outliner. Let's see, window, there you go, desk, cover. Alright, select the cover or everything in the cover, and translate tool. Let's move the pivot. If the pivot is in the back, I could show you what it does. There we go. Alright, well, if you grab the rotate tool and you actually rotate the desk cover up, you can see that the desk actually opens. Yay! It's pretty interesting, cool stuff. So that was part of the project too, so it all needs to open. It's not one piece of geometry, it's actually multiples. But the main thing, let me just reverse that. Main thing about the tutorials is it teaches you how to use all the tools, but it also teaches you how to trim. Now what trimming is important, especially when you're dealing with NURBS, is when it comes to texturing and shading and lighting, you get a lot of problems when you're not trimmed correctly. So if you look at here, you can see this piece. That's called a fillet. It basically gives you that appearance as though it was welded or one piece. So here, if the geometry was not trimmed, obviously I can move this. Okay, it's not set. I mean, it's set in place. But if you were to go inside the leg, let's just get a good view here. Sorry about that. Alright, now you're looking in the leg, you can actually see all the way down. The piece of the back of the chair is not protruding into the leg because I have trimmed it. Big thing is they want you to trim, so they want you to get rid of all that excess geometry. Also in the chair is another good place for it. If you look around here, it's not much. The only thing I have there are the backs of the chairs. Like, oh my goodness, Maya just crashed on me. Isn't that something? Well, that doesn't surprise me considering the fact that the software will do that all the time. So always make sure you save your work. I mean, save your work like after you do something important. If it seems like it's a tedious job, make sure you save after that because Maya will crash your computer. And I'm working on a computer that has 4 gigs of DDR3, so don't think it's the actual PC. My PC or my Mac is very powerful. Okay, it's just the software. It's unstable, especially when you start working with complex geometry. Okay, so I guess you guys have the impression of what you'll be doing in model creation. Like I said, they're actually changing it from NURBS to polygons. From what I hear, rumor going around school, so I'm not sure how much longer they're going to be doing NURBS. I'm glad I got to do NURBS because you never know when you're going to run into a problem and you may need it. But in the future, I believe that they're going polygons. So I don't know. That's what I have to show you. I hope you enjoyed it. Peace.